We have some major breaking news. It has been announced that Junior Motorsports will enter the 2026 Daytona 500. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. As I just said a second ago, we got some pretty massive major breaking news this evening, as it has been officially announced and confirmed that Junior Motorsports will enter the 2026 Daytona 500. Here's the announcement from Junior Motorsports page. How about another round in Daytona? If you take a look at the video, it has been announced and confirmed, like I said, that Junior Motorsports will enter the 2026 Daytona 500. The number they are going to use for the 2026 Daytona 500 is going to be number 4. They use that number for the 2025 Daytona 500, and it also will have Travelers Whiskey as a sponsor. Travelers Whiskey earlier this year had said that they were interested in doing more races in 2026, and they will partner up with Junior Motorsports once again for the 2026 Daytona 500. So the other big question is, who is going to be the driver of the number 40 car for the 2026 Daytona 500? That driver is going to be none other than Justin Allgaier. Justin Allgaier ran the Daytona 500 in 2025 this year for Junior Motorsports. That made a lot of sense. Justin Allgaier just won his first overall O'Reilly Auto Parts title in 2024. So to give him a reward for winning the championship in 2024, Justin Allgaier got the chance and opportunity to run the 2025 Daytona 500. Junior Motorsports able to make the Daytona 500 in 2025, had a really solid run in the event, survived the big carnage and incident, and a really strong finish, scoring a top 10 in the team's first start. There's always been this indication around the industry that Junior Motorsports was going to be interested once again to enter the Daytona 500 in 2026, and that's what they're going to be doing once again. This is a really, really big deal because when it was announced last year that Junior Motorsports is going to enter the Daytona 500 for this year, it was a really, really huge deal for 2025 to see this team on the field and basically have a chance and opportunity. Now, the big thing to know, they will be an open car in the field. They will have to qualify for the event like they did in 2025, but they are the first official team that has been confirmed to be an open team. Now, granted, 24/11 Racing and Firm Motorsports, depending on what happens in a lawsuit, both those organizations could have open cars for 2026, but there's also potential possibility that even if they have their charters, they're still going to potentially have an open car for 2026 as well for the Daytona 500. But this is a really big deal, and I know a lot of people would like to see a really cool driver like a Daniel Ricciardo, for example, or see someone like, I don't know, Roger Kruf get the chance and opportunity, or see someone in the program like a Carson Quaffle get the chance and opportunity to be behind the wheel of this car. But Justin Allgaier makes a lot of sense for this car for 2026 once again. Justin Allgaier has been the flagship driver for Junior Motorsports for many years, and Justin Allgaier will bring a lot to the table once again for this year's Daytona 500 because Justin Allgaier has his own brand. I would expect Brand to be an associate sponsor on the car, and I think that he will be able to give this team a chance and opportunity because Justin Allgaier, in my opinion, has been a much better driver on super speedways in recent years. And I do think that he will be very fast and really competitive in this event. But this is such an exciting deal once again, because there was that email that came out. There were some rumors and rumors circulating about this for the last week or so. I heard some talk on that, and then I thought maybe it wasn't going to happen. And then earlier today, there was an email that surfaced of basically confirming, kind of got leaked a little bit early. And they have a different look to it this year. And then, of course, they kind of announced it. They kind of saw everyone talking about it. And it's like, okay, they're probably going to run the Daytona 500. And sure enough, they're going to do it once again in 2026. I gotta be honest, like I said, this is really exciting to see because I think Junior Motorsports and this team are going to be really competitive. I think without question they're the favorite open team to make the Daytona 500 in 2026 because we don't know all the open cars currently out at the moment that are going to run. But this team is going to have Hendrick engines, which is not shocking and surprising considering Rick Hendrick is a part owner of Junior Motorsports. They're going to have Hendrick engines on that car for 2026. And I expect that this car will be fast and really competitive. It had good speed in practice. It was really good in the duels. The fastest car in the duels, I remember correctly, this year. So I do expect this car to have a really good chance and opportunity to make the field. But it's all going to depend on the other open cars that show up. If there's a lot of really competitive open cars, I think then there's a lot of big possibilities we could see a very competitive field. But again, this is the first confirmed open entry for 2026. So with this announcement, we can now kind of start speculating a little bit on what the potential Junior Daytona 500 interest could be looking like for 2026. There is a potential possibility that 2311 Racing could run a fourth car in 2026. There is a potential possibility on that. Even if they win or lose their lawsuit, I would not be surprised if they enter a fourth car in the Daytona 500 for Corey Heim. Corey Heim has not announced anything yet for 2026, but certainly if he gets to run in the Cup Series again next year, I would expect Corey Heim to be one of the drivers. Garage 66, more than likely, I would expect to be back at the Daytona 500 this year. The big question is, will it be someone like a Casey Mears? Will it be a Chandler Smith in this car? Will it be a Josh Valicki, for example? Will it be someone in that camp? I think there's a potential possibility. Another team that I would expect to show up at the Daytona 500 for sure is Live Fast Motorsports. There was a post from Daily Downforce and talk about potentially Catherine Legge being the driver, but I have a funny feeling that it's going to be BJ McLeod once again, and BJ makes a lot of sense. BJ McLeod is someone who's represented a lot for the sport for many years, plus BJ's run all the super speedways the last couple of years, so I would think it'd make a lot of sense for him to show up to Daytona 500. Could RFK potentially open a 4-car? I know Breakart mentioned this on his channel, but there was some talk that they could run a 4th car for 2026, and I think there's a chance we could see a David Reagan behind the wheel of that car, or potentially even a Cam Waters. I know Cam's expressed interest, I think, in coming back over and racing in the States, so maybe we see him show up. What about Trackhouse? Could they field the 4th car for Project 91? I think that is certainly a possibility. I would love to see Project 91 come back. They had Elliot Castroneves running, and I don't think Elliot Castroneves would be the driver, but could we see someone get in the car behind the wheel? Like a Daniel Ricciardo, like someone in that camp, like a Valentino Rossi, for example. They would have to basically run some tests and stuff and do the ARCA race because they're required to do the ARCA event, but I would expect that as a potential possibility for 2026 as well. And then, of course, you have to think about some other teams that could field cars. What about Spire Motorsports opening up a 4th car for the Daytona 500? There was talk that Spire was going to open up a 4th car this year and run the race at Sonoma with Jack Aitken. Could we potentially see that? I wouldn't count out that possibility of him maybe running the event or Spire having a 4th car. I think Beard Motorsports, they will likely show up again in 2026. I would have to lean toward Anthony Alfredo being the driver of that car. Anthony Alfredo is a really, really solid super speedway racer. I think he scored a top 10 at Talladega in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series in 2025. So I'd have to think he would be one of the candidates and potential possibilities to get behind the wheel of this car for 2026. Could we see Jimmy Johnson return? Jimmy Johnson's already confirmed his intentions to run the 2026 race at San Diego for the inaugural event there, but could we potentially see this team run with Jimmy Johnson once again at the Daytona 500? I think that is certainly a possibility. Then you think about Richard Childress Racing. RCR, I'd have to think they're going to be looking to run a 3rd car in this year's Daytona 500. I would have to think Austin Hill would be the driver if they do enter a 3rd car, because Austin Hill is a really good super speed racer. I think you can argue the best super speedway racer in O'Reilly Auto Parts Series history of how dominant he's been. He's won like 12 or 13 races, I'm pretty sure, on those types of tracks, but I could be wrong. But he's won a lot of races on super speedways there, also in the Craftsman Truck Series with teams like Tory Racing. And then you think about other teams that could show up. What about a Tricon Garage? What about a Sam Hunt Racing? There's been rumblings about Sam Hunt Racing potentially opening a car, and could they choose someone like a Harrison Burton? I think that is certainly a possibility to watch out for in 2026. And then Tricon, could they somehow find a way to get Martin Truex Jr. out of retirement? Or could they put Taylor Gray behind the wheel for him to have a chance and opportunity to make his NASCAR Cup debut? I think that is certainly a possibility at this point. But this is some really exciting stuff, and awesome to see the Junior Motorsports will be back in the field in 2026. Sure, it'd been cool to see a different driver behind the wheel in the 40 Chevrolet, but at the same time, I think this is some really exciting news and pretty awesome to see that Junior Motorsports is back running the Daytona 500 in 2026. We'll see if this team can be fast and competitive in next year's Daytona 500. I think they're going to have a really good chance and opportunity to do that in the 2026 Daytona 500. And maybe Caldo opens up another car. There's potential they could run a car, maybe the Money team or the 50 team, Ameriville with Burt Meyer, something like that. But also, nonetheless, see that Junior Motorsports will enter the Daytona 500 once again in 26. I expect them to be really competitive next year. So, that's your today's special breaking news report on Junior Motorsports entering the Daytona 500 in 2026. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. Do you think Junior Motorsports will make the Daytona 500 2026 or not? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And do you think there'll be other races they will enter in 2026? I think there's a potential possibility they could enter more races, maybe Talladega, maybe run some road course races with different drivers behind the wheel. We'll maybe see someone from the camp, like maybe we see some drivers come up and run. Who knows at this point? Let me know what other races you see, what other entries you may see at the Daytona 500 as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, we're going to talk about the top 10 free agents heading into 2026 to 2027. We might do a Shane Van Gisbergen video as well tomorrow. Then on Sunday, we're going to have the 2026 NASCAR Cup winner predictions. And Monday, with all the news that's been breaking, we're going to cultivate it into one big, long news video dropping on the channel on Monday. And some other content will be dropping throughout the day as well. We got a team preview dropping for RCR and Team Penske, and potentially Junior Motorsports team preview coming this week as well. And some other big videos on the way. We got content coming on people like Haley Deegan, Shane Van Gisbergen, Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain, Sheldon Creed, Sam Mayer, Frankie Muniz, Kyle Larson, Chase Lake, Ryan Preece, Brad Keselowski, Daniel Suarez, Junior Motorsports, Connor Zilisch, Carson Kvapil, Cletus Safron, Dodge Ram, Frankie Muniz, among other things. To talk about this stuff on the channel in the coming days and coming weeks as well. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode. I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content, other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.